Leadership at its center is about power and influence, such as the pigs in Animal Farm who manipulate the other animals on the farm and then become the leaders. This may also connect with real-life events and leaders such as Hitler. He had so much power, there was not only corruption in the country he controlled, but corruption within himself. That probably led him to kill himself at the end of World War II in 1945. We also see how power leads to corruption in Lord of the Flies, when they cannot decide who the leaders will be, and there is a lot of chaos, which results in some of the boys ending up dead. Despite the fact that individuals have control to do the wrong thing with so much authority, know how to deal with power and authority, since they control others, and terrible corruption happens when authority is given to the wrong individual. In the allegorical novel Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, the animals are being manipulated, and they say that all animals are supposed to be equal. As the other animals work, the pigs did not actually work, but directed and supervised the others, so they were not so equal, because the pigs assumed they had more authority than the others. Since the pigs believed to have superior knowledge, it was natural that they should assume the leadership. When leaders get the power that they desire, they use that power to get things done, and they are not always right. This may lead to corruption and their downfall.
This also connects to real-life events such as Hitler's leadership that began in 1933 and ended in 1945 after his death. His way of leadership was, make the lie big, make it simple, keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it. Just like he lied to the Jews and killed most of them during World War II in death camps. Hitler said, whoever lights the torch of war in Europe can wish for nothing but chaos. This demonstrates how much he cared for victory. This exposes how driven he was towards the idea of war, and he did not generally nurture the people's groups enduring it as long as they won. Hitler said there was to be chaos because he would make big moves such as enhancing his army for his triumph. But in the end, his authority led him to commit suicide at the end of World War II in 1945 when they had invaded Germany and he knew there was no way out. We also see a sense of corruption in the fictional novel Lord of the Flies when the boys cannot decide on a leader, so there are two separate groups of boys led by Jack and another by Ralph. The boys ought to have a chief to decide things. This demonstrated how they tried to decide all together, but they could not even decide for one person to lead them out of the situation alive. The boys had been stranded on the island for so long they were becoming more and more savage every day. They would have trouble making decisions, and they would lead to each other's deaths until they were rescued by a naval officer. Power can be ambitious and drive you into bad decisions. People who receive authority may not always do the proper thing with it. When people get the power they desire, it might end up hurting and oppressing others. They may do the right things in the beginning, but when they crave having more authority, they will manipulate others to hold on to their power longer. Even though they have control to do the wrong thing with so much authority, people have the power to control themselves with it, so it will not lead to corruption.